Hello everyone, it's Arrow here again, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my regional team that I used during my regional and why I decided to use that. So, as you can see on the screen here, I used Medicham, Lantern, Tropius, Venusaur, Azumarill, and Skarmory. And why you might be asking why two grass types? The reason is I knew I wasn't going to use either of the two Pokemon really, and all the other options. I figured with these two on my team, I could force them from not using a Mudboy and probably bringing a flyer, which I felt really comfortable if they didn't bring a Mudboy and brought a flyer. So the main thing with this lineup of 6 is I never was going to use Medicham, I never was going to use Venusaur, and I never was going to use Tropius. I had planned from the get-go to start Lantern every match, have Azumarill and Skarmory in the back. The reason being is Lantern does really well against a majority of the leads. It beats Haunter with one shield. It beats Haunter with fast moves and shielding. It beats Sableye. It beats Azumarill. It beats Skarmory. It beats a lot of things. So I'm going to get into some gameplay showing how this lineup works against some of the worst case scenarios. Because best case scenarios, it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm getting ready to start these matches. I asked the guy to use Venusaur to start. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to use Lantern, then Azumarill, then Skarmory. Knowing that I had planned for Venusaur leads to start, and I had run a lot of simulations, whenever a Venusaur lead happens, you'd think, switch into Skarmory. But then you lose your Skarmory. And if you're running double grass, you can't do anything against the double grass. So if you switch into a Azumarill, actually, and it has to be like a really quick switch. Like don't let Venusaur get any energy that could hurt you against the Azumarill. Because if for some reason a Venusaur can get 3 Frenzy Plants off before Azumarill gets 2 Ice Beams, your Azumarill's dead. And you don't get that shields that you would originally wanted. So, the way I think of that is, I told him use Venusaur to start, try to win. And so, we're going to start the match off. He's going to bring in Venusaur, I'm going to bring in Lantern, and as you can see, I'm immediately going for that switch. I'm getting Lantern out of there, saving him. I bring in Azumarill, and he's going to build up enough energy to hit a Frenzy Plant, and I'm going to shield it, because I know I need to shield it. So, I'm going to immediately go for the Ice Beam, and that was such a good switch on his part, because he's bringing in Melmetal. Now, Melmetal versus Azumarill, I'm at a disadvantage here, but I'm counting moves, and I know when it's a Rock Slide / when it's Thunderbolt, and I'm just going to tank this, because I believe it's a Rock Slide. Sure enough, Rock Slide comes, and Azumarill can take that. I'm going to get a Play Rough off here, and this is going to do a little bit of damage to his Melmetal. He doesn't shield it, so now his Melmetal's in the red, and Azumarill has done a lot of work, and I'm just going to let Azumarill tank this attack as well. It ends up knocking my Azumarill out. I'm bringing Skarmory. And if his Melmetal had a little bit more health, it'd have been better off, but I brought in Skarmory thinking I could get just Sky Attack, Air Slash him to death, but I ended up having to take a Rock Slide, which that's fine. I didn't use my shield, so my Skarmory has a little bit of energy. I know I have the advantage over a Venusaur at this point, so we're just going to charge up our rings and get as many Sky Attacks off as we can. And we have one shield at this point, so I know I need to shield this Shadow Ball coming in, because he kind of has to go for a Shadow Ball. And I get another Sky Attack off, and he's going to end up shielding that. So at this point, it's a race to either Shadow Ball or Sky Attack, and I'm going to end up winning that race to Shadow Ball in this instance, but he's going to actually opt to use the Bone Club. And that's not going to do as much damage to my Skarmory to knock it out. Bone Club is very ineffective against Skarmory and doesn't do much. So I'm going to get to Sky Attack off and finish off the Marowak. He's going to bring in his Venusaur. Venusaur used a Frenzy Plant, if you do remember. Before its last move, I had some charged energy, and I am going to be able to Sky Attack his Venusaur to death. So in round 1, the main thing that I took away from just, these are practice matches. I've already done my regional. I'm trying to help others and also trying to make this video for y'all. Lantern, when you switch into a Azumarill against Venusaur, how many people are going to switch out of that disadvantage, out of that matchup, knowing they're going to win it? There's not a point to switch out, in my opinion. So, Azumarill being able to take both of Venusaur's shields with Ice Beam is something that is very beneficial to you if you're running Lantern and Skarmory as well. Because Lantern can take out Bastiodon without shields. Skarmory can take out a lot of stuff without shields in this meta. So, we're going to get into round 2, and I'm going to start Lantern again. I asked him to start Medicham, which Medicham is a hard counter to Lantern. Only situation Lantern wins is no shields, because it can actually Hydro Pump in that situation. So I'm gonna switch into Azumarill, and as you'll see here, Venusaur has to shield the Ice Beams that are coming its way. So I Ice Beam that one. He's gonna get a Frenzy Plant off here, and Frenzy Plant would have knocked me out. I got a shield it, and so I'm gonna get another Ice Beam off, and at this point I'm just like, yes, I take the shield advantage. I don't need a Azumarill anymore. Let's go. So he's gonna use another Frenzy Plant. I'm like, perfect. I'm gonna be able to take even more of a shield advantage. Like, I'm gonna be able to farm this with my Skarmory. So I farm off this energy with Skarmory, and I don't have to shield anything that Venusaur is going to throw at me. It doesn't do anything to me. So I'm farming this for Venusaur with Air Slashes, and eventually it goes down. He brings in Melmetal. So I go for Flash Cannon. In hindsight, I should have just gone with Sky Attack. It does just about the same amount of damage for a lot less. So I switch into my Lantern. Lantern's going to be able to tank whatever type of hit Melmetal's bringing. I've played matches where Lantern takes plenty more hits than that would just shown. I decided not to shield that, which in hindsight I really should have shielded. I was expecting Power Up Punch. I guess he didn't have a Power Up Punch on his Medicham, which is fine. I just needed to be able to show y'all kind of the gist of how this lineup could work. And so he's going to get another Dynamic Punch off, and I could have shielded that. I should have shielded that, but it's okay. I'm going to end up getting a Sky Attack, and at this point, as soon as the Sky Attack goes off, he's going to one-hit me dead. So he's going to take match number 2. I asked him to start Wishcash, which is another really unfavorable matchup for Lantern in round 3. And I told him, use whatever you want. You know my team. You're trying to win. So he's going to start off with Wishcash in this round. And Lantern loses to Wishcash in pretty much every scenario. So immediately, if you decide to run this lineup and you see Medicham, Venusaur, or Wishcash, switch into a Azumarill. Skarmory is not a good switch. You don't want to lose your Skarmory to a Bastiodon. It will ruin your chances because you need Skarmory versus a Grass type running this lineup. So As the battle goes on, we're going to start off. I'm going to throw in Lantern again. And he's going to bring in Witch Cache. And I decided to run Water Gun Lantern because I felt like it did better against Bastiodon. It's a little slower, but in charging up moves, but it does better against Bastiodon. So he switches out. I switch into my Azumarill. He switches into his Lantern, which Electric is this lineup's downfall. Like, if they bring an Electric type Pokemon, this lineup gets hurt. So I'm going to have to shield this with my Azumarill. I'm going to try and get another Playrough off, and I do. And I think he should have shielded this, in my opinion, but I don't think that he does. So I'm going to take a lot of his Lantern's health, and at this point, I'm like, I know I have a favorable matchup against Witch Cache with Azumarill. If I just save Azumarill, then it's going to be good, because I know I can fast move this Lantern to death with it being so low on health. So I have enough for either charge move, and I'm going to go with for Ice Beam, thinking no matter what he brings in, he's probably shielding, since it's lower energy. And sure enough, he brings in for his Venusaur, and he switches out, which that really confused me. But it's okay. We're just running practice and trying to show off this lineup. So Azumarill's going to get an Ice Beam off on this Witch Cache, and Witch Cache can take that, but it takes quite a bit of health. And we're going to get to another one because the Mud Shots are doing nothing against Azumarill. And he's going to tank that as well. Knowing what Witch Cache's charge moves are, I know this is either a Blizzard or a Mud Bomb, and it's a Mud Bomb, so it's not going to do anything to Skarmory. He probably got scared, so he quick-clicked the Mud Bomb, and then it's Skarmory versus Venusaur, and we've all seen this matchup 1,000 times. It's not going to go well for him. I'm just going to end up Sky Attacking him to death, and yeah. So I ended up winning 2 out of the 3 matches, and I just wanted to show y'all you can win very easily with this matchup, with this lineup, just because Lantern can switch into the safest thing possible, knowing that you have Lantern for later, with Azumarill being the safest thing possible, because Azumarill can do something to the grass types that other water types cannot, using that Ice Beam. I'd like to thank y'all for watching. If y'all like the video, I'd appreciate it. Subscribe. I look forward to making more videos. I hope that some of y'all can use this in your regional. I know some of the people that I've partnered with in PvP using the Go Battle Stadium, using the Go Stadium on Discord, have really enjoyed this lineup, or using it against others, but have very much hated whenever they play me using it. Thank y'all again. Enjoy.